Hello everyone, welcome to PioSOLVER 1.8 release video. This is a big release, there is a lot of new things and I'm going to go through them. I'm going to just use this announcement I've written before and talk about features listed here one by one. There will be links available to specific parts of the video in the video description, so you don't need to watch it all. You can just skip directly to things which are of interest for you. Okay, so let's start. First big feature is Rake. So it's now possible to include Rake in calculations, both preflop and postflop. So yeah, this is to make the solutions a bit more real life, because unfortunately in real life most of us pay Rake. So let us go through some examples. Maybe the first thing I'm going to do is to solve some simple pure preflop tree. So we have this Tipton tree here, and there's include Rake checkbox here. We need to specify the Rake as well. So first we specify the percentage of the pot which is taken. So let's use 5, which is usual in online play at least. And then there is cap, so that's a maximum Rake which can be charged. I will use $3. I think Stars uses like 2.8 these days, but 3 was like traditional cap, so I'm going to use that for the purpose of this video. And then we build the pure preflop tree here. I'm using pure preflop instead of full preflop because that's faster to solve, and that's like the only reason. It of course works for pure full preflop as well. So before we solve anything, let's see if the Rake is indeed calculated. When we go to like all in and then call, this is the showdown, and we see that EV on one player is 68.5, and another player is the same, of course. So we see that they don't add up to the pot anymore because the pot is 140, and 3 bucks are missing, and this is exactly why. I mean, the Rake is exactly why. We see that this is also there's also a flag, like the node is marked that the Rake is taken here. We can also verify that when we like go all in and then fold, the Rake is not charged here because the Rake is not charged when the play ends preflop without showdown. Yeah, so now EVs add up to the pot, right? Okay, so let's solve that tree. Click go here, and goes to 0 pretty quickly. So first interesting thing is that we are used to EV of out of position player and EV of in position player to add up to starting pot. This is not the case anymore because there is Rake, so this is not zero sum game, and we can in fact add those differences. So this is 0.668 plus 0. This. So this is the cost of the Rake for the whole game, and as we can see, this is 9 BB per 100 hands, right? Because I mean, we have used 510, and this multiplied by 100 is 9 BB. So this is very serious Rake. We can look at the solution now. Yeah, the solution is to just go all in or fold basically all the time. It is I mean expected that we are going to go all in more often with Rake as in comparison to the game without Rake, because call-in or any other action which can lead to postflop play is just way less attractive when there's a heavy Rake, especially with the stacks which are that short, right? So just to confirm our suspicions, we are going to Now solve the tree without rake. And see that now there is no rake taken. So let's solve this as well. Yeah. So now we are back to EV of both players adding up to 0 as expected because there is no rake anymore. And we can see the solution is different as well, right? And there is some more limp included. In fact, 4.6%. And before we only had all limp, right? So you can see the difference Rake makes here in this example. And you also can see how much Rake hurts every player. Because like now, IP player is making 0.17 per hand. And before with Rake, they were losing 0.24 almost. So yeah, that's the cost of the Rake, right? This also works Postflop here when you are making a Postflop tree. And yeah, I'm not going to solve a Postflop tree now because that will take a while. But what I'm going to do instead is to load some old tree I have saved, which was solved without Rake included. And then what we can do, and which is pretty cool feature, is that you can add a Rake right now. So we can use the solution which was calculated without Rake and then add the Rake. This is unfortunately only possible when you have the whole tree saved and not a small save. So what we use solver console directly here, and we just use set Rake 5% and 3. Yeah, and then we recalculate those results, and you can see that the exploitability is different than before. It's way bigger. It was 0.027 and now it's 0.16. Also EVs are different. This case was some 510 case from 6max. I think this is like button against big bind or something like that. And it is interesting to see the cost of the Rake again. Before the EVs added up to 55, of course, and now they don't anymore. So we'll see what they add up to. They add up to, yeah. So this is like the cost of the Rake for this tree, and this is expected because the cap was 3, and we are almost at the cap here, right? 60 is the cap. So this is like the total cost of the Rake, and you can also see how much it influences every single player. Yeah, but to see the real, this is not the equilibrium with Rake. This is like the old equilibrium with Rake applied. So you can see how well it fares. If you want to see the solution for Rake, you need to solve from scratch, right? Include the Rake, build the tree, and then go. Okay, so that's about Rake. I think this is very useful. There's a lot of things to experiment with. Various structures. You can make the Rake smaller to take Rake back into account and stuff. Okay, so another feature is Hotness feature. We call it runout EV comparison. People often refer to that as Hotness. Yeah, what I'm going to do is again use this tree here. This is nicely solved. So this is 510 spot, and we have a continuation bet, call, and some card. So what we are often interested, we want to see which turn card is the best for IP. Let's say for IP player, right? And what is the worst one? So one way we can do it is to show EV for IP here, and then just go around, change the card, or we can use our Control plus arrows to change runouts and to have it refreshed as well. So this is very nice, but what would be even better is to see all of them in one place, all the EVs. So now we can do that. Here we can go to tools, and then run out EV comparison here. Hotness, and this is Control key plus H. So we are going to use that. And then you choose which player you want to analyze. So let's say we want IP, so the continuation better. And then we want to see EV, the other options equity. So there is this table, and we can see that the 7s are the worst for IP player, with the exception of 7 of heart, which completes the flush. 7s are the worst, then aces are the worst, and 2s are not very good either. This is expected, of course, because OOP player, when they call, they often have a pair, so every card which pairs the board is good for OOP player in principle, right? So this is visible here, and we can confirm that this number here is on 4 of heart, 60.674, and this is the same number, right? So those are just EVs for all the turn cards. Let's do it again. We can, for example, choose, I don't know, 10 of space, go to the river. And here again, we are interested in which river card was the best for, say, this time OOP player, right? So we open this again and choose OOP this time. And we see that the best cards for OOP player again are the ones which pair the board, 7s, 10s, aces. Queen is pretty good as well, which is interesting. Maybe because it makes us straight for King Jack. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. One would need to evaluate, right? So yeah, you can also choose to see equity here instead of EV, which might be, I don't know, more enlightening or maybe less. Like this is a bit different information. Yeah, so I think this is quite straightforward to use. You just go to the place in the tree, and then you can see EVs for this place, but different cards. So all the different cards possible, right? So I think this is what people wanted here, right? Oh, by the way, you can open more of them as well. You can. This is for all player. You can click it again. Yeah, it should work. Now you have 2 of them as well, so you can compare. Okay, so that's this. Next feature, performance improvements. Yeah, so this is not something I'm going to demonstrate much, but I'm going to read it. So the big one is that Postflop solver now uses 35 to 40% less memory, and this is actually a big one because it makes a lot of things possible which weren't possible before on hardware with, let's say, 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. For example, a big full limit tree on a rainbow board, like this one, right? So heads up ranges, so almost full ones, and all the options included. It is now possible to fit this tree below 16 gigabytes of RAM. You can see it takes 13.3 almost, so it fits under 16. So that's one case which is now possible for many people, but also for no limit, you can just build a lot more trees now. If this is equivalent or getting like 65% of memory more. So I think this is very nice. Another improvement is the Preflop solver on big machines. So like dedicated servers or cloud machines is now way faster, about 40% on those 16 core machines. Yeah, and there are some more. One important one is before the saves take a very long time, for Preflop especially. Now it's no longer the case. You can have this tree, for example, here. Oh, I made a mistake. I started calculating this limit tree here. We are not going to do that, of course. There's no time for that. What we are going to do is load this again. And I'm going to demonstrate now. Before, when you make a small save, the whole tree was disposed from memory, and that took a long time, and then you didn't have access to the whole tree anymore. What happens now? You can just make a small save, and let's say we call it. I don't remember when I had them, unfortunately. Oh, here. So yeah, small. So we can make this save, and then we can make a very small tree as well. Tiny. And yeah, you can compare how small they are. Like the original was here, and that was 2.3 gigabytes. Now they're 46. The small one, so without reverse, is 46 megabytes, and the preflop plus flop is very tiny, right? And after making those saves, you still have the whole tree available, which wasn't the case before, and this is a very important thing here, you know, to have, because now you can play with this tree, you can solve it still, you can, you know, log nodes and stuff even after you make the save. So this is useful. So let's see. Oh, preflop estimation. This is a very nice feature, I think. We are going to use preflop solver for that. So let's say we have those trees, like something like here, and this is from 6max, like button against big line, and we want to build it on, I don't know, 50 flops, right? And before we build it, we want to see how big this tree is going to be, and now we can have that information. So that would be 17 gigabytes, right? Maybe we choose some different tree. For example, this is heads up 3BB, so either we raise to 3BB or fold, and then 3-bet, 4-bet, and then calls here, right? And we want to build it on 50 flops, so estimate, and that would be 32 gigabytes. So we can't afford to build this on this machine at least. Yeah, so, but now you can experiment before you build, and that's I think very useful. Another good news is that this feature also works with Postflop solver. So if you don't have Preflop solver yet, you can use this estimate to see if your computer could handle those big trees here. So yeah, in general, you need 32 gigabytes of RAM at least, but 64 would be better. 64, I think, is very, very good, but 32 is a bit limited. So that's the reality of that. What after that? There is improved layout. Yeah, so as you can see, those buttons here, they are now, like common buttons, so we don't need to skip between tabs anymore. This is mainly an improvement for limit players, because before they needed to build stuff here, go back, and this wasn't very convenient. Now there are like common buttons for all those tabs here. Also, as we are talking about limit, there are new options for limit trees. You can remove 3-bet in position. You can also force continuation bet, OOP or IP. So those are useful to make trees smaller, but also the fact that they just, the fact that the solver just uses less memory now is very useful for limit players as well. So I can now say that you only need 16 gigabytes of RAM to fully use, the solver for limit hold'em, which I think is a very nice achievement, because before it was way more. Okay, so notifications when the tree is done. So what many people wanted is that they start a tree, let's say this one, and maybe we are going to make a smaller one, like a tree on the river. And then we want to solve it to say 0.25% of the pot. And then we want to see a notification. We want to solve it to notify us. Maybe we are in the other part of the room or something. So now it's possible. Here you have the options. First, you can use no notification. So that's default as before. You can use system beep. So let's try it. No, there was a beep. I'm not sure if you have heard that, but there was one. And another is that you can also use any program that Windows can open that includes, for example, YouTube links. So if you do that and go, you will see there is this. Oh, there is some crash. I'm not sure what that is. I mean, anyway, not sure what that crash was. That's going to be researchers later. No. So maybe the recro crashed the server. No. Okay, so then there is another point. There is more three built-in options. Okay, so I have already went through limit options, but now it's also possible to make this spread limit or something similar. So for example, let's say we start with 100, we have this. And what we want are bets like 100, I don't know, 200, 200, and raises are 200, 300, like that. So now we can have bets without all-in threshold. This still doesn't work. Oh, right. I forgot about C. When you add C at the end now, you will have bets, by specific amount. So the raise was 200, so by 200, right? And on the turn, this is So you can specify bets as a specific amount now. So that makes spread limit possible. You can also imitate limit hold'em here if you want. You can do it here as well, but so you can use that for those untypical structures, betting structures, which sometimes arise. So the way to do that is you just add C at the end, and this means specific amount. So this is bet 100 chips and raise 200 here, 300 here, right? How this is clear. So another thing is it's not possible to browse all the possible play resulting from preflop trees. So this is a big one. I'm going to connect to the preflop solver here, and before it was a bit painful to browse postflop solutions resulting from preflop trees, and the interface was very random and not user friendly at all. So now it's way better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load one of those solutions PioCloud prepared for the users. Let's say 15 big blinds. So we have this solution here, and let's say we choose the most frequent action, which is call, then raise and call, and now we can select the flop. So when you click that, you see this form here, and first you can see that the solution was calculated on 82 flops, and all of them are listed here. I mean, at least top how many you can fit on the screen. And this form here works like you choose the highest card on the left, and then you see all the flops with the highest card which you have chosen, right? You can choose 2 of them as well. So yeah. I think this is pretty straightforward, right? And you choose this, you will see the lowest characteristics are this. So this way you can choose the flop. Let's say we want this one, and we have this flop here. We can browse, then choose the river, and go to the river and browse the whole tree. I mean, yeah, and up to the river. Here. So yeah, you can now browse the whole Postflop tree without problems, and this applies to trees which were calculated before as well. Before we had some problems. There was some crashes when recalculation was triggered and it wasn't really usable. But now you can go back to those trees and browse them Postflop as well. So again, here just select flop and you can set whatever you like, and you can also see how many flops were used for the solution, which is a very useful useful piece of information. Okay, so another feature is and there is an interface for choosing saves in the folder. So sometimes when you run aggregation report and you have a lot of saves for the same configuration, let's say I have, for example, I have those flops here. So I choose one of them. I'm connected to the preflop solver and I need the postflop one to load them. Yeah, so I have one of those trees, but I know that I have like 700 of them in this folder. So what I can do now is go to File and then load tree in the same folder. And here again I have a list of all the flops, and I can choose which one I want using the same interface as before. So let's say I want like Queen Jack something, right? So I choose just one of them, and I see that this loads, right? Let's do it again. I want ace 4, then I have ace 4 here, right? So this is a quicker way to load those saves, and yeah, I think this will make organizing your saves way easier. Okay, so it's now possible to express desired accuracy as BB per 100 hands in addition to traditional. Yeah, so you can use this form here, and I think this is pretty straightforward. You can, for example, go this case, build it, and you want to see solve to 1 BB per 100 hands, and BB is, let's say, 10. I have to tell the solver because it doesn't know without that. And then you go yeah, so maybe we need to turn that off. Okay, so this is another thing. Another feature is it's now possible to express desired accuracy as BB. Yeah, this we just went through this. It's not possible to select a suit to exclude when showing the results. Yeah, so this is very nice. Maybe I'm going to choose one with a flash draw. Maybe a small one. Anyway, so here those suits you can choose, like for example results for spades, right? Like this. But what you often want to do is you want to see EV for, let's say we go to the term, and then you want to see the strategy for every hand which doesn't contain a heart, right? Maybe go to 6 of hearts. And yeah, and now it's interesting because hearts are obviously like the best hands, but you may want to see the results without a heart, right? Because before you needed to click every suit separately, like spade, diamond, and see the results. But now you can exclude the heart as well. The way to do that is to right click instead of left click, and then you excluded the heart. So you see the results for hands which are not a heart, right? So you see there's a lot of folding here, and then when we make it hard, there's a lot of calling and raising, right? So right click to exclude, left click to include, right? So I think this is very nice as well. Yeah, there is the combo lock in interface. Yeah, maybe I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this. So let's say we have my favorite tree. Start to solve it. I guess enough. So yeah. Let's say we go to node login here, and what we want to do is say that our opponent is always c-bet in good hands here. So this is queen, jack, 2, I think. We don't have a set anymore, so it doesn't matter. So let's say they always c-bet, top pair or better, no matter what. And then they always c-bet hearts as well, right? So hearts, I'm going to choose all the hearts. We'll fix that. And now what we want to see, what we want to say that this is not, the exact strategy for all those other hands. We only want to log those top pairs and hearts. So we choose log selected combos, and then we select which ones we want to log. And the ones we want to log are top pairs, set, and heart. So now you can see that we have what we wanted, right? Every flush draw bets, every top pair bets, and then we go back to solving. Yeah, maybe wait 1 minute. We can see that this is combo locked here, and still betting. Maybe I'm going to wait a few iterations. This will take like 1 minute anyway, so this is not a long time. So I think this feature allows you to specify reads you may have about opponents, like they always bet draws, for example, or they always bet very strong hands, and then you can see the optimal play with that assumption. So this is a bit more powerful than combo locking before, because before you needed to lock the whole strategy in node. So you needed to choose both, the hands they bet, but also the hands they call. So you weren't able to tell because you don't know what they are doing with something. And now you can. Now you can say they are betting top pair and the flush draw, but you don't know what they are doing with different hands, other hands than that, right? So now it's not. So now you can see that it's still locked as we requested. Yeah. So this is how we play against that, and the solver was forced to bet those top those top pairs, right? It's 1 here. So it solved all other combinations, assuming it has to do that. And we can also see like there is a strategy into EV, and we can see that the betting is not the best action, of course, because our opponent knew that we are going to bet that. That was our assumption, so they adjusted, against a check. They are going to play very aggressively, for example, because they know that we don't have any flush draw and we don't have any top pair. So they are going to bet a lot of hands, way more than they would bet if we didn't log, this continuation betting combinations, right? So I hope this is straightforward, and I think this is very nice as well. And then there is some range explorer improvements. So the way it works is people often requested that when we show, eight, for example, or gut shot, right? If we show an open-ended straight draw or gut shot, and then we show, for example, top pair, then there is no way to choose hands which are both top pair and the gut shot. And now there is. We can see there is no hands like that. Yeah, of course there isn't. Maybe go to the turn. Go to the turn, then here choose top pair, and now we can see there are hands which are both either top pair or second pair and a draw, right? Like Queen 10 has both a draw and the pair. So you can choose now n, so this is and one or the other, and all, so this is this and this. So this is this feature. And then there are keyboard shortcuts for common actions. You have seen me using that already, and they are listed here. So for example, when you want arbitrary solver command, the one which I use all the time, you just click Ctrl+B. When you want combo locking, then you press Ctrl and N, and then you see this. They take a while to get used to, but they are a faster way to start parts of this, parts of the viewer. So this was often requested as well. Then there is views open in a new window can now be configured to follow tree browsing. Yeah, so there is this feature when you can open, a view in separate window, and what you can do now is to check this, and it's going to follow what you do when browsing. And the way this is useful is because you can, for example, choose equity for IP player, open this in separate window, check this, go back to strategy here, and when you go to different node, this one is going to refresh as well. So now you can have several windows and different information on every single one, and then when you browse, you see all of them refreshing at the same time, which might be useful to give you like better overview when you want to all the information at one glance, especially when you have like big screen. You can use that. I have quite a big screen here, but only very small recording window, so this is a bit clumsy, but yeah. Okay, another feature is it's now possible to add pair combination stats to aggregation reports. Yeah, this was very often requested, and we can run one of those reports now. For example, against second barrel, go to plugins, aggregation, run as aggregated report, and now there is this checkbox here. You can include hands in the report. It means that there will be results for all the combinations as well as all the runnouts. So this is going to be often 1000 or more bigger than the report before. So be warned. Test video report. Run that. And let's see. Reports. Yeah, I have those reports here. And the big one is this one, right? Yeah, this is LibreOffice. It's not the fastest program to start, but here it is. So you can see that this report now is humongous. It has 20,000 lines, and what it contains are all the turn cards and then all the combinations as well. So you have turn cards and all the combinations. So this is a lot of data, and there's still ace of spade here, now ace of heart, and then all of that for all the turn cards, and then all the combinations, and then you have for all the combinations of all the data as well. So for people who program a bit with Excel or either other spreadsheets, there's a lot of data to work with, and I hope everyone is happy with that. Okay, and yeah, traditional other reports as well. There are preflop orders and information and EVs and stuff. Right? But this was available before as well. Okay, so the final feature I'm going to talk about is rounding preflop. Now it's possible to round preflop solutions. There is nothing new as usual. Oh, I'm sorry. As usual, you go to tools and then I can't find it. Right here, round strategist. Go here and then you can choose preflop as well. Of course, that only works on preflop trees and only works as long as you have the whole tree in memory. So you have to round, before you kill the tree. And the interface is the same. You can choose which player and up to what street, right? So the whole tree is here, and then up to flop, only preflop here, and yeah. Okay, so that's it. Let's see if there is anything else. And it's notable bug fixes. Yeah, one bug fix I want to talk about in the preflop solver. In the preflop solver before I don't know. I don't know. Guys, this is not like release version yet, but okay. So when I make a new tree, before when I wanted to do something like that, we either raise or fold, and then we either call or fold, and there is some Postflop play. I don't know, something simple like this. And before it was impossible to make a tree like that because we didn't have all in. So that was pretty painful because you needed to include 3-bet here and then 4-bet to make it possible. And now you can make those simple trees as well. So this will build. Choose 30 flops. You can estimate first. See, this is quite a big tree actually. Why is it so big? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you can build that. Maybe you can make cap 3 and then estimate. Yeah, now it's way smaller. Anyway, yeah, so you can now build this very simple tree and solve trees like that as well. And there is also this option to force continuation bet, which didn't work before in the previous release, and it works now. So this is another thing which you may want to use. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the release. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of issues which are going to surface in coming days. So just be patient, report, and we are going to fix them. I hope you enjoyed this release. Okay, so thank you for watching the video and have fun with the solver.